Hi everyone, this is Mindy for Honeybee Stamps, and today I have a fun fishing card project to share with you today. And this card is definitely not what I was planning to create. Now, one of the stamp sets that I'm going to use is called Lucky Lures. I really loved this image that kind of had that label in the middle, and then there was trees and a sun and a lake. And my original intention was to stamp these out and die cut them with the coordinating die. So I placed that image on some Express It cardstock along with that title that says a fishing club. I'm going to be giving this to my husband because he loves fishing. So that is what I was pretty much going with today. So I'm inking this up in intense black ink from Honeybee Stamps since I did plan on coloring in my image. Now, I did stamp it twice because it was brand new. I hadn't used it yet, and I really want to make sure I am getting a good transfer of ink. When I had placed these images on that paper to stamp it down, I just was kind of randomly doing it because I wanted to die cut, so I really was just making sure I had room to die cut them out. But after I stamped it, I really loved the layout of this. It was just perfectly placed, which is rare. And I really loved how that bottom image has that nice flat edge to it. So I decided to go ahead and just turn this into the card. I did bring in a sentiment from Hooked on You, and I'm stamping that down. I thought that would be really cute to give to my husband about having, getting a big fish, but having a witness. He always takes pictures when he catches his fish. So because I stamped it twice, and this is a slick cardstock, I'm going to just dry this with my Ranger heat tool. I'm going to color in this image using my Copic markers. For the sun in the background, I used Y19, Y15, and Y11. And then for the trees, I am going to be doing G28, G24, and YG01. So I came in with the YG01 first and filled that in, and then I'm going to come in back to the darkest color, which is the G28, and I'm adding the shadow area on the opposite side of the tree, kind of furthest from the sun, and I just got to make sure and remember to place it on the other side for the trees that are on that other side of the sun. And then I just blended between all of those colors. Now, one thing that I did kind of have to look at is that this is meant to be die cut out with a rectangle die that's included in the coordinating die set, and I didn't want to color outside of that. So I did kind of draw in my own line with my marker to make sure and keep those lines. Like I said, this was very rare that I actually centered that pretty good. Now with my water, that was a little more tricky. So I brought in a ruler. This is from the MISTI Corners set, and I just drew that line or tried to have that be straight all the way down. And then I'm filling in all of that water with the B02. So I'm starting with that lightest color. Again, down here, I had to kind of fill in that line so it would look nice and straight all the way across. And for this one, I happen to have a fine tip marker, which came in really handy because I had to get in between all of those words like the tackle company. So once I got my main layer put down, I came in with B18, drew over all of those artist drawn lines, added a little bit of shadow area around that label, and then I'm going to blend it out with B16. Now, I did mention at the beginning that I am using Express It cardstock. One of the reasons I've kind of been switching back to Express It is because it's a very slick cardstock, and my ink will stay it'll stay wet a little bit longer. It won't soak into the cardstock as fast, which is giving me more time to blend my colors out. So I've kind of been back to enjoying the Express It cardstock. It's what I started with years ago when I started Copic coloring. I switched to Nina, and now I'm back to Express It. So I finished by filling in kind of this sage green in between the word lures, and then I'm going to leave it. So I'm going to call that good for my coloring, but I want to work on some die cutting because I had that open area of that label, and at first I wasn't sure what I was going to put there. I decided that I would bring in one of the die cut pieces from the Lovely Layers Lures die set, and I used the color suggestions that Honeybee provides on their website. They had some really great color combos. So I just found some cardstock that would match that. And I die cut out, I think this is one of the smaller ones. Now, what I want to show you here is I'm taking an alcohol wipe and I'm rubbing those feet of the Bitty Buzz cutter because my cutter was kind of sliding on my glass surface, but that's mainly because it was dirty. It picks up things from our work surface, and if you have dog hair and dust in my house like mine, that would make it dirty and not stick to your glass surface. So I just wanted to show you that. Then I'm using my tweezers and precision glue to attach all of those pieces. And I did come in and add that little dot for an eye, but I used more of a dark gray cardstock versus a black. I added some thin foam squares behind my lure here and added that to the center in that label. Now I did want to kind of dress it up just a little bit, so I'm bringing in some unicorn stickles. I know my husband's going to be okay with glitter on his card. He knows they go on almost every card I make. And then I'm also going to bring in a Nuvo Aqua Shimmer pen. And I'm going to just apply that over my lure to make it shiny and eye-catching, just to give it a little bit of shimmer. Once everything dries, I'm going to attach it to an A2 size side folding card base. And that is it. I did not expect my card to turn out like this. It wasn't what I was planning. Don't think I really had a plan, but I am really happy with how that turned out. And I think part of it is because of that edge that some of those stamped images have, because they are meant to be die cut out and added to the box die that Honeybee has. I hope you enjoyed today's card inspiration. I want to thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you again soon.